All right. Here's where we left off. Part 1. Now, I mentioned forest carbon pools, and I think that subject can be a little confusing. So, Part 2, we're going to describe it. Let's dive right in. There are two main categories of forest carbon pools, and this is a wetter forest category. But the two main categories are above ground and below ground. I'm going to go through this system and describe each, but the two main ones are there. Let's dive right in. The biggest one in above ground, standing live trees. Fairly self-descriptive. This is the forest. Any live tree of a certain size, we measure everything in this whole forest carbon pool system. Yes, any tree alive of a certain size and category falls into this standing live trees category. Fairly self-descriptive. Biggest one in the above ground pool. Let's go to number 2. Shrubs and herbaceous, understory. I'll describe it a little more. We're talking berry plants, huckleberries, blueberries, salal, stinging nettle. Yeah. Things like this. Shrubs, herbaceous layer. Smaller percentage. Not a lot of volume there, not a lot of structure. But yes, keep moving. Live roots. Number 3. Again, fairly self-descriptive. Any alive roots underground. They are, we dig holes, we measure these, calculate it out. Again, not a huge percentage, but bigger than number 2. Let's go on to number 4. Standing deadwood. Now we're talking more of the transition from above ground to below ground. It's a part of a system. The above ground is alive, pulls in CO2, disperses oxygen, uses the building block of life, carbon, to grow and become bigger. It starts to die. That tree falls into this category of number 4, standing deadwood. Again, fairly self-descriptive. Let's go on to number 5. Now we're really getting into the transition. Lying deadwood. So again, certain trees of a certain size, certain category, they fall to the ground. They fall within this category. And as described in part 1, now they're starting to hit the composting layer. They're starting to break down. Trampled, bugs, worms get in there, break it down, and it disperses over time. Hundreds, thousands of years, and the forest goes from standing carbon to carbon in the forest floor. Number 6, litter and forest floor. This was just kind of what I was describing in part 1. Debris, leaves, branches, needles, cones like pine cones and such. All these things fall to the forest floor. Disturbed, worms, bugs, all the things. The system breaks it down. Composting layer is what I described above. That's storing carbon, again, over hundreds of thousands of years. It's building up, building these layers, and storing it into the final category, the biggest category in the below ground, is number 7. Soils. That's what I'm describing as the composting layer. In other regions, we have a very small forest floor measurement. I went to Salt Spring. There was areas, it depends on the area, but there was areas where it was like barely a centimeter, very hard to measure even. In our wetter forests, in our rainforests on Haida Gwaii, we have amazing forest carbon pools and storage of carbon. So there were places where it was up to and over a meter. So our system is a very strong system. It stores a lot of carbon. It is a system that works together to sequester carbon from the atmosphere, and over time, those building blocks of life that are created die and become composting layers and stored in the forest. Real quick, disturbance will break this apart and release it back into the atmosphere. That is what we want to avoid. This could be logging, this could be forest fires, this could be any kind of disturbance. And we'll break out into those. That's going to be other categories within this series. I hope you enjoyed the forest carbon pool portion of this series, part 2. Look forward to more. How